Well, welcome to Friendship Sunday, everyone. Of course, I like to say there's nothing better than a friend unless your friend has chocolate. Or maybe it's unless your friend has chocolate and a glass of wine, right? Then it's even better. Okay. Well, I just want to acknowledge the bravery that underlies today, because if you brought a friend, it's not easy to ask someone to come to church with you, even if you say like, no, really, it's really cool. And then also, it's brave for your friend to say yes, right? To say, yes, I'll come, when your friend had said, no, really, come with me. It's really cool. So I just want to say that. Let's give a round of applause for everyone who's here for the first time and anyone who brought a friend, and for those of you who've not been here for a while. And again, for all of us for making it at the right time, right? So we did Friendship Sunday as a way to extend our hands out, if you will, to friends, because at Unity we're not very good at proselytizing. We just aren't. And actually, many other people have said that that's the reason that we are still this little hidden gem amongst the better known churches and faith traditions of the world, even though we've been around since 1889. And we have Daily Word magazine, which I put right up here front and center for us, because a lot of people know Daily Word magazine. Usually you'll see it in a hospital or maybe a friend's house. It's our prayer and affirmation book. So every day you have a different prayer and affirmation. And I remember when I was in high school, I was babysitting at a house, and it was a Catholic family. But, the kids went to sleep. We didn't have phones back in those days. I had to keep myself from falling asleep. So they had different magazines at the coffee table, and I noticed they had Daily Word, and I was so excited. And so when the parents came home, I said, oh my gosh, this is my church. And she said, it's a church? So a lot of people don't realize that Daily Word is connected to Unity churches, but we are. So the other thing, too, that I realize is that, for some folks, Unity is different because we don't have dogma. We have nothing that says you must believe this way. So if you're used to another traditional church, that's going to be a shift in perspective for you that may or may not make you comfortable. But in Unity, we honor everyone's spiritual path and journey in life, so that you can attend a Unity church as long as it works for you and is working for you in your life and along your spiritual journey. We honor you. We honor your own individual sacred path. And we don't teach in a heaven or hell by following or not following what we teach. Instead, we believe that you are placing yourself in your own heaven and hell at any time. You can be there right now. It's really what we teach is that heaven and hell are states of consciousness. So you can choose to be in heaven in this moment or in hell in this moment. Wherever your focus goes is where your life is going to flow. We're also different in that we don't believe in sin, which is an old archery term for missing the mark. And how many of us have missed the mark? At some point in our lives, don't we all miss the mark? Yeah. Something else that sets Unity apart from traditional Unity, or traditional Christian rather, churches, is that you may hear a quote from the Bible, but you may also hear quotes from Buddhism and Taoism, Hinduism. You might hear some modern day spiritual teachers like Eckhart Tolle or Brené Brown or Gabby Bernstein or even Oprah herself. Trying to get Oprah here one day. We view ourselves as Christian mystics, looking at the mystical side of Christianity. And here's how Unity defines itself. Hopefully our slide's working. Yeah, here we go. So here's how Unity defines itself. If you're a Unity student going through different programs, you got to have this memorized. So here you go. Unity is a positive, practical, inclusive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of affirmative prayer. Unity honors the universal truths in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. And so now everyone who's brought a friend is like, so now she gives me the elevator pitch. right? Take a picture, everybody. So next time, I think this is so hard for us, right? Even me who grew up in Unity, just 10 years. But, for those of us who even have been around in Unity a long time, sometimes people say, well, what is Unity? What's Unity? And you go, well, it's positive and good. Just come, right? But here's the actual definition of what unity is. Now, while we do honor other religions, that doesn't mean we don't have our own beliefs or teachings. And so I thought today would be a great day to review our 5 unity basic principles. So let's start with number 1 up here. Unity basic principle number 1 is God is everywhere and always present in every circumstance. This divine energy underlies and animates all of existence. In other words, there's only one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life. And we have different names for God. God can be called love, or allness, or divine mind, or presence, or divine life, or wisdom. So love is everywhere and always present in every circumstance. Divine wisdom is everywhere and always present in every circumstance. Our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, said, God is not a person but is principle. His wife, Myrtle Fillmore, said, God is love, healing, wholeness. And my favorite, Reverend Eric Butterworth, said, God is presence, or again, God is that allness of life. And I also love this example given by Reverend Eric Butterworth. He said, if God is the ocean, then we are a wave in the ocean. We are not the entire ocean, yet we contain everything that the ocean contains. Just breathe that in. How magnificent are you? Yeah. And so now some people say, well, and I want to say that we cannot leave God is really what this is saying, right? We cannot leave God. We cannot leave presence because we are it. We are that extension. We're not all of it, but we are the extension of that God, of that allness. And so some people will say, well, Stacy, are you saying that during horrific events, God is there? And to that I say, let's turn to our friend Mr. Rogers. Because Mr. Rogers said, what? Look for the helpers. Yeah, in those horrific times, we see that the people rushing in. And the people rushing in are being the power and the presence of God. They're being love in action. They're being wisdom in action. They're being strength in action in that moment. So I always look for where is the good? And sometimes we don't see it immediately. Right? Sometimes it takes a while. But we can place our focus on, let me look for the good. Let me listen to Mr. Rogers and look for the helpers, because the helpers are the ones who are being that extension of that one power and one presence. Our second unity principle. Human beings are innately good because they are connected to an expression of spirit. Again, you are the wave of the ocean. In other words, you are divine by nature. You are naturally good. We also teach that you have 12 inherent spiritual faculties or abilities. These 12 spiritual powers, which are a reflection of your divine nature, and we have them here on our wall. These 12 qualities here are your inherent goodness, are your divine identity. These attributes are the truth about you, that you are faith, that you are love, that you are strength, that you are wisdom, that you are power. You have the power to direct your life, that you are imaginative and creative. Yeah. That you have strength, that you have zeal and enthusiasm, that you can let go of what no longer serves you, and that you are connected to life. And it is will and that willpower, the willingness to say, I want something different, that then moves all of those other 12 spiritual powers or attributes. That these are the truth about you, not anything else that you may have taken on during your lifetime. So this is when you say, well, now Stacy, now Jesus. Slip of the tongue. Now Stacy. Maybe Jesus or Gandhi, was innately good, but what about a criminal? And again, now I turn to the Bible verse, one of my favorite, Matthew chapter 5, verse 14 and 15, that says, you are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under the bushel basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. See, the light is there. The light is there, but they have forgotten who they are. They have forgotten their source, their light. They have placed a bushel basket over them. And let us remember for ourselves during those times that we don't act or respond the way that we would like to. Has anyone ever done that? Just me? Okay. It's during those times that we can cover ourselves, right, with our ego. We cover ourselves with the untruth or the lies that we've taken on about ourselves, about who we are or what we are, or who or what we need to be. And instead, what we need to do is take off the bushel basket and remember the light within us. So let us remember the divine qualities that we contain and that we can at every moment. In this now moment, we can choose right now to express any of these. So again, it doesn't matter where you've been or what you've done, but right now in this moment, even in a conversation, we can say, I'm so sorry, let me take off the bushel basket, let me show up in my light, and now let me express love. At any moment, we can make that change. And so when we or someone else has done something not right, it's that we've forgotten our light. So here's our moment to remember the light within. Okay, our third unity principle. Our thoughts have creative power to influence events and determine our experiences. We did a lot about this over the last 5 weeks with our E-Cubed series with Pam Grout. But here's Oprah, because I told you I'd throw some Oprah in, right? Oprah said, remember you are co-creating your life with the energy of your own intentions. You are co-creating your life with the energy of your own intentions. So Unity's co-founders, the Fillmores, discovered that when they held in mind with great emotion and intentional energy a thought, an idea, then that's what became true in their outside world, that their thoughts determined their outer experience. Now, Stacy, or Jesus. Thank you. Sherry said she sees the Christ in me. Thank you. Now, Stacy, are you saying that I can have a thought and then that thought that just suddenly appears? We were talking about this the other night, right? Like if you're in acting and someone says, break a leg, now are they suddenly going to break a leg? No, because what is the emotion and the belief and the thought behind that? Right? It's the emotion and belief, either positive or negative, that's underneath the thought and the words that will get manifest. So two people can have, the same experience. The same thing happened to them, and yet they can have two completely different experiences of that same event or situation. Anyone know that? Yeah. So I have a lemon here because it's the reminder that a lemon can be really sour and make your face do this, right? Or a lemon, you can be celebrating and say, yes, delicious lemonade. coming up, right? We have the choice. So in different situations in life, you can either see everything as good, or you can focus on nothing good ever happens to me. Because what you see, you will find. What you find is what is your expectation of what you're expecting. Do you see? You can see the gift, or you can see what was lost. But you will see and find whatever it is you're expecting. Your mind is a powerful tool in which to create your life based on how you choose to use your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Unity principle number 4, prayer and meditation connect and align us to our own spiritual nature and to God. Again, because we are that wave in the ocean. So unity was founded on the power of affirmative prayer, connecting to our own inner divinity and wisdom. It was written in a 1939 Unity pamphlet. Unity's prayer ministry is the backbone and breath and pulse of all of Unity's endeavors, and it still is today. Myrtle Fillmore, our co-founder, attended a lecture in 1886 by Dr. E.B. Weeks, who said, "You are a child of God, and therefore you do not inherit sickness." And so she created an affirmation from this. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. And her prayer method began of blessing and giving thanks instead of beseeching and begging something or someone outside of her. She started blessing every organ. She started blessing every part of her body. She gave thanks to it. She apologized to her body for anything negative she had said in the past about it, any unkind things she had said, her unkind treatment of it. And she started speaking kindly to her body right now in the present. She cured herself after 2 years of this affirmative prayer method. She cured herself of a lifetime of tuberculosis and other childhood illnesses. And so she started to gather friends. And in 1889, they prayed in this new, positive, affirmative way. And then she and her husband, he was late to come on. Just want to pause there. Some of us need real hard science, right? We take a while. So he really wanted to observe Myrtle and this new prayer method. He wasn't a believer. She walked out, see, 2 people, same event. She walks out of there and says, my life has changed. He walks out of there and goes, I don't know. But after seeing the power of affirmative prayer and how she really connected with this divinity within her and how she changed her health after a lifetime of sickness, well, now he's on board. And he did his own study as well to all the other religions of the world and started seeing these truths, this unity throughout. And so they gathered their friends together and they started Silent Unity, which is Unity's prayer ministry, in 1891. It's still going today. Charles and Myrtle called it Silent Unity because they believed unity is the oneness of the universe. They said the oneness of the universe in that we are all one with each other and with God. And silence, referring to that need for stillness. We rush around so much, and yet it's so important. Today we would call that a mindfulness practice. But they said that silence, which makes it possible to reach beyond the individual self to become aware of the unified oneness. Unified oneness. In other words, that one power, one presence that we're all a part of and an extension of. So Reverend Linda Martella-Whitsett, who is right now the vice president of Silent Unity and the author of How to Pray Without Talking to God, she writes that the purpose of prayer is to claim your divine identity. She says this. I think we have a slide. Yeah. She says, prayer is about you enjoying a better life empowered by your divine capacities. Claiming your divine identity leads to greater life, greater love, greater good, all of which are natural for you to desire because it is your true nature. This is your true nature. We are the answer to our prayers as we realize prayer is not a plea for a particular outcome, but a calling upon ourselves to realize what we are to be in a circumstance, what we are to be. If you want to know what to be for inspiration, look to our wall. Be faith, be love, be wisdom, be understanding. Yeah, but prayer is really about being that one power and one presence on earth. So Silent Unity can be reached by phone, 1-800-NOW-PRAY. I didn't make it up. That's really it. 1-800-NOW-PRAY. You can email them. They have an app called You Pray, and they receive over 1.5 million prayer requests every year, up to 2 million. So, and we here at Unity of the Oaks also have a prayer ministry as well. We have one-on-one prayer available when you exit and you go right to the left. We have a prayer room there. We have a prayer slip in the back of the room and a prayer box that you can place prayer into. We have a form on our website for prayer, and we also have an email, prayer@unityoftheoaks.org. So please feel like, again, whether you're here today, in the future, connected to us or not, we are always here to pray with you. Okay, number 5, everyone, our 5th unity principle. It is not enough to understand spiritual teachings. We must apply our learning in all areas of our life, incorporating them into our thoughts, words, and actions. You see the bee here? The bee knows he has to go out and get the pollen. He can't just sit around saying, well, I'm going to sit here in my strong emotion that I am a pollen-abundant bee. I got to go out and do the work. Or as I like to say, don't sit on your affirmations. You got to walk your talk. Because as Reverend Linda just pointed out for us, we're being called to express the truth of who we are. We're being called to express our true nature, to be the presence of God on earth. The spiritual growth happens in the doing. You will have very little growth or transformation if you just come and you sit and you don't apply what you've learned. The transformation happens with the application. Be what you want to see and experience in the world. It means you may have to show up differently than you have before. As Charles Fillmore said, let the God within you express itself through you in the world. If we would draw to us love, we must be loving and kind. If we would be peace, or would have peace and harmony in our environment, we must establish it within ourselves. So the action is the change in behavior, thought, and belief, and then being that which you have learned. So yes, Unity does have teachings. We have our 5 principles, we have our 12 spiritual attributes or powers, and we have mindfulness practices of positive prayer, affirmation, and time in the silence. So if you're here with a friend today, they invited you because they have found these spiritual teachings to help them in their life. And if you are here today, you're here because you have found that these teachings have helped you in your life. For my own self, I'd be a very different person if it were not for Unity and the spiritual tools it's given me. I was a very, very shy and anxious child. I have had many, it seems, physical health challenges throughout my life. I've had some dark nights of the soul. And in Unity's teachings, I've been able to come back over and over and over again to a place of peace, to a place of grace, to a place of joy, to a place of loving kindness and compassion when I do sin or miss the mark. And it brings me back to my innate truth of who I really am and what I'm here to do while I walk the earth. For my own self, I be the listener. I be the heart. I be the friend. I be the helper. And I become an extension of the divine by embracing and being those actions and intentions. And for you too, you are here to express God life in the unique way that only you can, because we're from the same tree, but we're all different leaves, each of us with our own unique markings and colorings. So whether you have been on this spiritual path for years or this is your first time here, you are currently maybe just exploring, finding what's best for you, my wish today is that you walk away knowing that you are inherently good, that you are a powerful creator of your life, and that you can create an amazing experience for yourself. And while you show yourself and others loving kindness, you do so even through life's challenges. So here's this last quote from Amy Poehler, the actress. It reminded me so much of unity and what unity has done for me. She said, find a group of people who challenge and inspire you, spend a lot of time with them, and it will change your life. Yeah. So in the spirit of friendship, I hope you feel welcomed, cared for, and safe here today, whether it's your first time or your 1,000th time. I say welcome to unity. Blessings, everyone.